If you ever wake up and realize everyone around you is gone, leave immediately. Don't investigate. Don't go looking for answers. And whatever you do, don't stay to see what comes next. Welcome to Tales Beyond the Flame. In 2008, a family of 4 living in a small rural town in Western Australia experienced something that remains one of the strangest events they've ever spoken about publicly. The father, Andrew, worked long shifts operating heavy machinery at a nearby quarry. His wife, Rebecca, worked part-time at the town's primary school. They had 2 children. Life was simple, predictable. The town itself had fewer than 1,000 residents. Everyone knew everyone. News traveled fast, which is why what happened that weekend should have been impossible. Late on a Friday evening, Andrew returned home exhausted after a 12-hour shift. Nothing seemed unusual. The local pub was open, lights were on throughout town. Several neighbors were outside talking as they normally did. After dinner, the family watched television for a while before going to bed. At around 2 a.m., Rebecca woke briefly after hearing what sounded like vehicles moving through town. Heavy vehicles. Several of them. At the time, she assumed it was related to mining operations. The sound faded after a few minutes. She fell back asleep. The next morning, Andrew woke shortly after sunrise and immediately noticed something felt wrong. At first, he couldn't identify why. Then he stepped outside. The town was silent, not quiet. Silent. No traffic. No lawnmowers. No distant conversations. Nothing. The street outside was completely empty. That alone wasn't enough to cause alarm. Until he drove to the local bakery. Closed. The service station. Closed. The supermarket. Closed. Every business in town appeared abandoned. Andrew returned home thinking some kind of emergency must have occurred. Maybe a chemical spill? Maybe a bushfire threat? But if there had been an evacuation order, why hadn't anyone informed them? They had received no phone calls, no emergency alerts, nothing. By midday, concern had turned into genuine fear. The family drove through every street in town. No residents, no police, no emergency services, hundreds of houses, not a single visible person. What made the situation truly unsettling wasn't that people were gone. It was how they had left. Cars remained parked in driveways. Laundry still hung from clotheslines. Garden hoses lay running across lawns. One television could be seen playing through an open living room window. Everything suggested people had departed suddenly, and recently. Then they discovered something even stranger. Every dog in town was gone too. No barking, no pets, nothing. It was as if every living thing had left during the night, except for them. By late afternoon, Rebecca wanted to leave immediately. Andrew agreed. But before they packed the car, he decided to stop by the local police station one final time. Maybe someone had left information behind. Maybe there was an explanation they had missed. Instead, he found something that made him wish they had driven away hours earlier. A notice board had been placed inside the station, freshly printed, attached sometime during the night. The message contained only a few lines, and at the bottom was that morning's date. The final sentence read, "If you are reading this, you were missed." Andrew immediately grabbed the notice and returned home. By the time he arrived, Rebecca was already loading the car. The children were frightened. Everyone wanted to leave. But before they could depart, something happened. For the first time all day, a phone rang. It was the family's landline. The sound startled everyone, because all telecommunications appear to have stopped working hours earlier. Andrew answered immediately. Static. Nothing else. Then a voice. A calm male voice. "Are you still there?" Andrew demanded to know who was speaking. The caller ignored the question. Instead, he asked, "Why didn't you leave?" The line disconnected. That was enough. The family got into the car and headed toward the main highway. The drive should have taken 20 minutes. Instead, they spent nearly 2 hours trying to leave. Every road leading out of town was blocked. Not by barricades, not by authorities, by abandoned vehicles. Cars sitting across intersections, trucks left sideways on roads, as if people had stopped driving and simply walked away. The family eventually reached a secondary route leading through bushland. As sunset approached, they finally escaped the town limits. And that's when they saw them. People, hundreds of people, standing in open fields several kilometers away. Completely motionless, facing toward the town. Andrew slowed the vehicle. The figures didn't react, didn't move, didn't acknowledge the approaching car. They simply stood there, watching. Rebecca immediately told him not to stop. He accelerated. Nobody followed. Nobody moved. The family eventually reached another community later that evening and contacted authorities. What happened next only deepened the mystery. Officials insisted no evacuation had occurred, no emergency declaration, no government operation, nothing. According to authorities, residents had simply gone about their normal lives, which was impossible. The family had seen the empty town themselves. Police eventually accompanied Andrew back the following day. The town appeared completely normal. Residents walking streets, businesses operating, children playing outside. Nobody seemed aware anything unusual had happened. When Andrew attempted asking neighbors where they had been, most looked confused. Several claimed they had been home all weekend. Others insisted they had seen the family driving around town the previous day. The notice from the police station had vanished. No record of it existed. No officer admitted creating it. Years later, Andrew still insists the event happened exactly as described. Most people dismiss the story. Stress, confusion, a misunderstanding. But one detail has never been explained. During the family's drive through the deserted town, Rebecca took several photographs on a digital camera. Most showed empty streets and abandoned buildings. Perfectly ordinary images, except for one. In the background of a photo taken outside the supermarket, a single person can be seen standing inside a second-floor window across the street, watching the family. The problem is that building had been vacant for more than 20 years, and according to town records, there was never a second floor,